everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Lorena and today I'm going to be doing my labor and delivery story. Please give this video a thumbs up and comment and subscribe down below. Let's get into the video. I went into labor August 29th of 2016. I was 5 weeks early, like I said in my last video, and I went into labor going to a stress test. I was going to a stress test because I'm diabetic and they just wanted to monitor the baby's heart rate because when the mothers have health medical problems, they want to make sure that the baby is safe and not getting stressed out. So we went in because there was a problem the day before with the stress test. It had read a high reading of his heart rate and the doctors wanted us to come back. So we were there at 7 o'clock in the morning. They called us in right away. We got hooked up to the monitors, and like 10 minutes into it, the nurse asked if I'm okay. So I look at her and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. She's like, well, you're having really high contractions. Are you feeling anything? And I told her, no, I'm not feeling anything. So she was like, okay, well, in 30 minutes, if it's higher, if it stays the same, we have to take you to labor and delivery because it's like high. So I'm like, I look at Marcus, my boyfriend, and I look at him like, nothing's wrong with me. I feel totally fine. I guess my whole, like, from 5 months to delivery, I always kind of was uncomfortable because I was small before I got pregnant, so being stretched out so much made me uncomfortable. So maybe I didn't feel anything because I was kind of used to being uncomfortable. So 30 minutes later, she's like, no, they went up. We have to send you to labor and delivery. So I'm like, well, I'll walk there. I'm fine. Like, it was just across the way a little bit. So we get checked into labor and delivery. They hooked me up to my IV, and they kind of just monitored me. The first hour that I'm there, the nurse that I have checks to see how far I'm dilated. I was dilated 1, which in many cases is normal. A pregnant person can go for like 2 or 3 months being dilated to 1 centimeter. So it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a scare. After she checked, I had to go to the restroom very bad. So I went to the restroom. When I got back, I had the most excruciating pain of my life. I felt like someone was pushing on my stomach for my son to come out. I felt like it was so uncomfortable. And that's when I kind of like looked at Marcus and I was like, oh my God, I cannot do this. I guess before I had my son, I kind of didn't think that going into labor was that big of a deal. I was like, I'm going to be doing my makeup before, I'm going to be looking pretty, like, I don't care if people are coming to see me, it doesn't matter, I'm going to be fine. I want my mom and I want Marcus's mom to be in the room, and like once I felt the pain, I was like, nobody's going to be in the room except for Marcus. I'm not doing my makeup, I don't care how I look, no one can come see me, I don't want anyone to see me. I'm a big drama queen, so any little pain I get, I hype it up like 20 times more. So a couple hours go by, and this pain is getting worse and worse and worse as minutes go by. So I tell her, and she's like, well, we can give you medicine, but it's going to slow down the process of labor. And I'm like, I don't care. I do not care. I want this pain to be over with. I want to go home. I want to sleep. I've been up since 7 o'clock in the morning. Give it to me. Mind you, I didn't eat anything since like 10 o'clock the night before because the stress test nurse told me it's better on an empty stomach. So I was hungry. They only gave me graham crackers and peanut butter. And once like 12 o'clock hit, I was irritated. I didn't want to be there anymore. The only thing that was on TV for me to watch was Bones and Cold Case. Me and Marcus were so tired. He got to go down to the cafeteria and get Subway, which I wasn't really in the mood to eat, but I had a couple bites of his sandwich. And while he was gone, she checked me again. At this point, I'm 2 centimeters dilated, which again isn't that big of a deal unless it keeps going up and up and up. in the matter of a couple hours, then they make a big deal out of it. So she gives me more medicine, and it's starting to go away, the pain. I get to nap a little bit, and then she comes back in around 3, which at this point we hadn't told any of her family because we didn't want to stress them out. We didn't want to scare them, just for them to come to the hospital and them say, I get to go home. So by 3, when she checked me, I was pushing a 4 centimeters dilation. I was 3, so I told Marcus, I'm most likely going to stay, like the nurse had told me. When the doctor comes in, if I'm out of 4, which I was going to be pretty soon, he was going to make me stay. So I tell him we need to text our families, which I was in so much pain. I didn't want to look at a screen. I didn't want to hold a phone. I didn't even want to have my eyes open. I wanted to sleep, lay down, which the beds are very uncomfortable. Everyone who's been to the hospital probably knows that. So he texts my dad, he texts my aunt, he texts his mom, he texts his aunt, he texts my mom, everybody, and immediately everyone's calling. What do you mean? She's at the hospital. Are you guys okay? Does she have the baby? Like, what's going on? And he was like, we don't know. Most likely, yes, she's gonna have the baby tomorrow or tonight. So my dad worked around the block. When he got off at 4, he came to see me. He realized, no, it's not gonna be that big of a deal tonight. He'll come back later. So around 4:30, my doctor came in, and he got to check me, and I was pushing a 5 centimeters. So then he was like, we need to check her into the delivery room. She could have the baby tonight, she could have him tomorrow. So once that happened, Marcus knew he had to go home. He had to wash the baby's clothes, he had to wash the baby's blankets, he had to pack my bag, pack the baby's bag, get the car seat installed, everything, because mind you, it's 5 weeks early. All we had set up was the bed. His bed was made, a couple clothes were washed, his outfit for the hospital was washed, his diaper bag was packed like halfways, so he had to do everything that we should have done, but he was perfectly fine with that. He cleaned the room like from top to bottom to make sure it was good for the baby, and he brought everything that I needed, from a blanket to a pillow to everything to make me comfortable. And he got me my favorite dog house. I was so starving. I just remember texting him like 2 or 3 times telling him, I'm so hungry, I'm so hungry. He got me dog house. Once they hooked me up to all my, the monitor for the baby's heart, the monitor for my contractions, the IV, I was so uncomfortable. All I wanted to do was take my clothes off, which I was already in a gown, but I had like my underwear and stuff on. I just wanted to be comfortable and lay down in a warm blanket, which they did have warm sheets, and then they had more movies to watch in this room. They had Netflix and stuff that I was able to watch. So once he got back, his mom was there. She came, my grandma came, they were just visiting with me, and I was already irritable because I was in so much pain, and the medicine that they gave me only lasted for 30 minutes to an hour, which I tried to take advantage of sleeping during that time because I couldn't sleep through the contractions. So I had contractions all night. I got about 2-3 hours of sleep throughout the night. Once 5:30 hit the next morning, I stayed up because it was just impossible to sleep. Then they started giving me more medicine, which it felt better. So when people were coming to visit me the next day, I was okay with it. I was a little irritated towards towards like middle morning, almost noon. I was irritated. I just wanted to be alone and think. I was so nervous going into delivery at this point. I didn't really have time to be nervous before because I was early. Like I said, I was 5 weeks early. I think if I had gone to my due date, which I was going to be induced September 29th, I think then I would have been a little more scared. My original due date was October 7th, and they were going to induce me September 29th because they were afraid that his weight was going to be too high for me to have a regular delivery, and they thought I was going to have a C-section. So yeah, that was the plan, but things changed. He wanted to come into the world early, which we have no problem with. We were so infatuated with him when he was delivered. So the doctor that delivered me was not my OB. He was the doctor on call for his office, which that's another story, but I did not like him one bit. No, I did not like him. I wanted my doctor that I was used to for 8 months, and the doctor that I had was just really in a rush. I felt like he walked in, he was on a phone with somebody, not doctor related things, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna be getting done right now, and then we'll go. Like, I'm only 17, I'm gonna be having a baby, and you're just like, chop chop. So the nurse I had, she was perfect. She was amazing. She helped me through everything. She told me which ways were better to push. She told me how to do it, when to do it. So at 2 o'clock they gave me the epidural, which at that time I was 7 centimeters dilated, and I started pushing about 5 o'clock. The epidural didn't hurt like a lot of people say. I don't know if it was because I was in so much pain and I was like, I need it ASAP, or if it was just because it didn't hurt. The only bad thing that happened was I had fallen asleep after the epidural, and I was laying down, and I remember I felt something on me, and I started to pull very hard, and I just remember Marcus saying, hey, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, what? And he was like, you're pulling your epidural, like the line to it. And he was like, be careful, like, what are you doing? And I was like, what? Like, I was so out of it. And then another thing, this is more funny, my dad, stepmom, and my boyfriend Marcus were in the room, and I was asleep in and out. Like, I would be like, you know, in and out. And I just remember going, and they, like, when I woke up, like, looked at them, they were just like, what are you doing? And I was like, I thought I was eating an ice cream, sorry. That's like the only thing. Epidural was nothing to worry about. For any of you expecting mommies, it was pretty easy. A lot of people say that it hurts or that they got messed up. The only thing that I do regret is even getting it in the first place, because by the time I pushed, it wore off and I felt every single thing. So it really only lasted for about 4 hours, if that, 3.5. And it's not really worth it. I would have rather been able to go to the restroom myself and all of that, because I got it and I just have a lot of back pain now, and it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the 3 hours. But at 5:30, I started to push, and had my son at 6 o'clock, 6:08. I pushed a lot, but I was in a hurry. Like, I wanted to get him out. Just the pushing process hurt a lot. I felt like I was going bathroom and I couldn't. It felt like, kind of like, I guess, this is kind of nasty, but like I was constipated and I couldn't go to the restroom. The only person that was in there was Marcus. I didn't want anyone in there, just because I don't like people seeing me. I don't like being around people when I'm in pain. So it was more intimate for us to be there together to see our son born. He was born at 6:08 p.m. on August 31st. Like I said, I went into labor August 30th, and I had him the next day at 6:08 on August 31st. He weighed 6 pounds, 15 ounces, and he was 18 inches long. And just perfect, a bundle of perfectness. My Marcus got to cut the umbilical cord, and then they put the footprints on his shirt, and that's pretty much it for my labor and delivery story. If you guys want to know how postpartum was, which that is a whole nother story, please give this video a like and a comment down below, and I will do that for you. Thank you for watching so much.